What a huge win for the Seattle Mariners today. Not only a huge win today, but a huge series win. Their sixth consecutive series win. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. They defeat the Houston Astros today 5-4. They improved to 19-15 on the year. And I will not get tired of saying this, they remain in first place in the American League West. Going to ask you guys to bear with me a little bit. It's like the 10th time I've tried to record this video. My internet, I don't know what it's doing today, but it has been a bit of a mess. So I apologize if I forget some talking points or something in this one. But quick channel plugs, do me a favor, smash that like button. You guys have been doing that for all my videos. I cannot thank you all enough. It truly does help get the video out to more people, so thank you. And if you're new here or you've just been lurking, hit that sub button. Liking and subscribing are just two free, easy ways to help support my channel. So thank you all so much. It is going to be a fun ride the rest of the way this season. Couple notes, as always. My weekly show with Mariner Sir will be out tomorrow morning on Monday, just so you guys know. Going to have the post-game recap up today, so we're going to have that out Monday. So you can have your cup of coffee Monday morning on your ride to work, whatever it is you're doing. And listen into that as me and Mariner Sir break down the week that was in Mariners baseball, talking about the Braves and the Astros series. I will also be on the Collins It Like It Is podcast. I'll put a link to that when it's up. A couple brothers that do a new Mariners podcast, always trying to support the community and help channels grow. So I will link to that. I'll be on with them tonight. I'm not sure when it's going to be uploaded or when they're going to post it, but as soon as that is available, I will post it in the community tabs so you guys can give them a follow, a listen, and enjoy talking ball. Always great talking ball. Always enjoy doing that. What a win for the Seattle Mariners today. What a W for this team. A resilient win to come back. It looked like they had thrown the game away, and to bounce back and get that win, just tremendous. A huge series win against a desperate Houston Astros team, a team that absolutely needed that series. I'm not counting the Astros out by any means. It's May 5th. But if you're looking at it from the Astros perspective, you get a couple wins against Colorado. You take 2 out of 3 from Cleveland, who's been playing good ball. Then you come in, you get game 1 against the Mariners, and you're feeling probably as good as you have felt in a few weeks, or probably since the beginning of the season, if you're an Astros fan. Okay, we got a chance to win the series, maybe even sweep the Seattle Mariners here and really claw our way back into this division. And kind of a statement series win for the Mariners. Will the Astros get back into the race? Yeah, I think it's very likely. I still think they're a good team. I do have some questions. I think the pitching injuries piling up, and they have put themselves in a very legitimate hole early in the year now. I think they're now 11 games under 500. So even if they won 11 in a row, that only gets you back to 500. So they have a legit hole to crawl out of. So I will never write them out until I see that E by their number. They've been too good. But it's not just a matter of like, oh, they're fine. There is some things they've got to get figured out in order to get back into this race. The division hasn't run away with anything yet, and again, not counting it out, but a real nice series win for the Mariners to at least do what they can to put their foot on the throat of the Astros here in May as much as you can. And real nice job them going down to Texas twice this year, winning 2 out of 3 against the Rangers, a team that just drove you nuts last year. You lost all 6 games down there. And then to win 2 out of 3 against Houston. Mariners actually had a lot of success in Houston last year, but still a desperate ball club that was looking to get a couple W's to really pull themselves back into this race. And to be able to take 2 out of 3 from them in their own ballpark is very, very impressive. And like I said, just a gutsy win. Were there flaws in this game? Oh yeah. The runners in scoring position, struggle for the Mariners continues a little bit. But here's the thing. I was thinking about this before I came on. How many perfect wins are there? And I'm not talking perfect game, like 27 up, 27 down. I'm talking flawless start to finish victories. Mariners probably had one yesterday, about as flawless as you can get. Offense was in sync, couple home runs added on, Logan pitches shutout baseball. That's how this team wants to draw up victories. I mean, that's truly, I guess, how any team would want to draw up victories, 5 runs and your pitcher pitching a shutout. But you guys know what I mean. That's kind of how the Mariners are built to win a little bit. Hit the home runs, draw some walks, 5, 6 runs, add on, and then the pitching dominates, right? That's kind of how this team is built to win. But they're not all going to be like that. You're not going to have games like that every single time. You're going to have to scratch and claw to get wins a lot of times. Yeah, the runners in scoring position today, super frustrating early on. And it almost cost you. I'm not letting the offense off the hook, but they still managed to score 5 runs. And Houston's playing desperate ball too. Their season, again, I'm not saying it's on the line here in May 5th, but the huge series for them early in the year with how much they've been struggling. So they're going to give everything they've got as well to get out of those jams and to get the wins. So they're trying too to get around those things and pitch around it. And yes, you had Hunter Brown on the ropes and probably should have knocked him out. But Hunter Brown does have really good stuff. I'm a little surprised by some of his results. He's not pitched well, but the stuff is there for him to be successful. I don't know if he's someone that needs a little time in AAA, but because of their rotation injuries, I still think they're able to do that. But anyways, breaking down the Astros here, not what we're here for. But they're trying too. They're fighting. They're desperate. And, the Mariners give up the lead and could have easily rolled over in that situation, and they didn't. They claw back in the 8th and in the 9th to take the lead. So just a tremendous, tremendous win for this ball club. Like I said, flawless? No, not at all. But most wins are not going to be flawless. Maybe against the Rockies, sure, a couple flawless wins in there. Houston is still, even if you don't think Houston's great and they're falling off a little bit, they're still better than the Rockies and teams like that. So you're not going to have a lot of flawless victories when you play those teams. There's going to be frustrations. But here's the thing. Keep putting those runners on base. At least they're getting on base. Eventually, you'll start to bring them home more. This offense is going in the right direction. They did some good things in this series. They put up 5 runs each of the last 2 games. Could have been more today? Yeah, probably could have been 8 or 9. Probably absolutely could have buried Houston in this game. But Houston's doing their best to get the outs too. And I'm not trying to sound like a little kid here, like, oh, hey, they're trying too on the other side. It's not that. But, sometimes the other teams make plays as well. And I get it. It's easy for me to dismiss it a little bit after a win. I probably wouldn't have had they lost. And had they lost that game 4-3, I would have pointed at the offense. But then the offense comes out and gets the run in the 8th and gets the run in the 9th. So they redeem themselves a little bit too as the game goes further along. So let's go ahead and dive into the box score. Let me pull it up here real quick. Sorry, I should have had that up already. I apologize. Hey, the A's are losing 8-2. I don't think they'll hold up, but, hey, might as well give them a loss while they're out there. I didn't think I'd be checking on the A's, though, at May 5th, so there you go. Like I said, Mariners win 5-4. Pitching, Bryce Miller, 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks, 2 home runs. It does break the streak of 21 consecutive starts of 2 earned runs or less. Doesn't mean I think any less of the start. I thought Bryce Miller threw the ball really well. He took a shutout into the 6th inning. Unfortunately, Altuve has a long at bat there, gets a base hit, and then a pretty brutal sweeper down and into the lefties into that power zone. Kyle Tucker hits one out. And then in the 7th inning, he comes out with 77 pitches. There was some talk, should Scott have pulled him? Again, I'm going to defend Scott there. I think it was a fine decision to send Bryce Miller back out. He was only at 77. And again, it's not that like, well, Jay, how come you were fine with taking Kirby out, but then okay with leaving Miller in? First of all, Kirby, the injury, the knee issue was probably the main reason he was taken out. And second of all, I don't know if there's a right or wrong decision in those instances. I don't think there is there are times where it could be a bad decision, right? If Miller's at 47 pitches and cruising, then yeah, it's a bad decision. I think you can make a case that Miller should have come out. He was hit pretty hard in the 6th. Altuve hit some foul balls really hard and then lined a base hit. Right before that, is it Jake Cabbage, Zach Cabbage, corned beef and cabbage, Trey Cabbage. Sorry. Hit a deep fly ball that Julio tracked down. Then Kyle Tucker hits the 2-run home run. So you could say just based on that, that Miller should have come out. And I would have been fine with that. I think that's a defensible situation. I also think Miller's 77 pitches, sending him back out there for the 7th is absolutely fine, especially when you don't have arms like Brash and Santos in the pen. And now I'm with you guys. The bullpen's been lights out. Friday notwithstanding, even Friday, I think Thornton gave up a couple grounders that weren't hit that hard, and Spire just lost command. It happens. So I don't have a problem with trying to get that 7th inning out of Bryce at 77 pitches. Now, it stinks that both Scott's decisions, the Kirby one's the injury, so I shouldn't dive into that one too much, but both of them didn't really work out because Miller then gives up the home run to Singleton. And it also needs to be mentioned that was another bad pitch from Bryce Miller. The same pitch he threw to Kyle Tucker, he throws to Jonathan Singleton, and Singleton blasts it out. So that sweeper down and into lefties is just not going to work, especially the lefties that have the pop that Kyle Tucker and Singleton do. So, that's on Bryce a little bit. But listen, overall, 6 innings, the 2 home runs he had stinks, but 1 walk, 3 Ks. That was probably a little bit closer to the Bryce Miller we saw last year, which is still fine. There's nothing wrong with that start. And had the offense capitalized a little bit more in the early innings, Bryce Miller probably gets the W. So yes, the streak is broken of the 2 earned runs or less, but I thought Bryce Miller was fine. I thought he threw the ball very well. Was he Cy Young Bryce Miller today? No, he's not going to be every time out. Guys, it's going to happen to Logan and George Kirby and Castillo at some point too. And you just hope that the offense can do enough like they did today. Yeah, they should have added on more early, but they found a way to claw back late in the game. And, that's fine. That's fine. It was nice to see. I don't want to say the offense bailed out a pitcher because the offense had tons of frustrating moments too, but it was good to see them claw back and get Bryce Miller off the hook because I don't think he deserved a loss in this game either. Taylor Saucedo throws a shutout inning with a walk. It was an intentional walk to Altuve. I thought maybe, one move I will get on Scott that I thought should have been a little different. In the 8th inning, you had Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, and Jeremy Pena due up. I would have left in Sauce to face Alvarez and then gone to Stanek for Pena and for Bregman and Pena. And yes, you could have taken Sauce out there because he started the last inning, so he would not have had to face, and he already did face 3 batters anyways, but he wouldn't have had to face, you could have taken him out after 1 batter is what I'm trying to say in the 8th inning. I might have let Sauce face Alvarez. I still don't have a ton of confidence in Ryan Stanek, and that's probably more me, to be honest, because he's been fine. I said that on Twitter, like Stanek hasn't been bad or anything like that. I just think he's been fairly just okay. And in a bullpen that's been pretty lights out. I mean, he touched 100 on a pitch to Alvarez, but that splitter just is not biting the way he needs it to bite. And he's not complementing the pitch as well. He's got the velocity there and that can work, right? I mean, you can throw 100, you can blow that past guys, but man, if he could get that splitter to locate a little better, he could be lights out. So Stanek comes in, he hits Alvarez, which on I think a 2-2 pitch in the foot, obviously not intentional or anything. Not the worst outcome in the world to Walker to hit Yordan Alvarez, better than him going deep there. He does get Bregman to fly out. Pena, I think Pena had the base hit. Yeah, Pena, I think, got a base hit. Well, you know what? Let me pull that up. I hate when I don't remember what happened. No, I think Pena made an out. Sorry, guys. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. Play by play. All plays. This is what you guys came for, me trying to pull up the box score here. All right, let's go to the 8th. Could my mouse be moving any slower? Come on, bottom of the 8th. Shouldn't be this hard to find it. Pena struck out. So he did strike out Pena. It was Singleton that had the base hit. And then Andres Munoz came out and got Yandy Diaz to fly out. So you see a lefty and Singleton giving Stanek a little bit of fits there. Like, he wasn't bad. Again, Alvarez, I'm not going to complain too much. Alvarez could take anybody deep. So just putting him on first base, I know that wasn't the plan there with nobody out and him being the go-ahead run. You don't want to just put him on, but not the worst result having him on base. Bregman flies out. He gets Pena to strike out. And so it's just a tough one. I don't have a ton of confidence in Stanek. I don't think he's been bad. It's just, I don't know. I don't know where to really put Ryan Stanek at this point. I don't think he should be off the roster or anything like that. It's just, I don't have that ultra confidence in him. And I think part of it's just he's new to the Mariners. When you watch certain guys pitch for years in your organization, you grow that confidence with them. Munoz, Spire now, Brash, even Santos. Like, I know Santos is good. I haven't seen him in a Mariners uniform. So there's going to be moments where he probably makes me nervous just because we haven't seen that track record in a Mariners uniform, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Again, not trying to blast Ryan Stanek. I think he was fine, but just not quite there with the confidence yet. Munoz gets Diaz to fly out and then has a 1-2-3 ninth inning, including a strikeout of Myers. He gets Dubon to ground out. I will say this, Munoz, the fielder, makes me nervous. He even he has that kind of weird throw where it's like he looks nervous to throw it, but he got the out on Dubon, strikes out Myers. Then Altuve with a fairly deep fly ball made me a little nervous for a second, but you saw Rayleigh camping underneath it, and the Mariners hold on to win the game. Gotta say this about Munoz, that slider looks back. I have not looked at the value of that pitch yet, but man, does he look back to 2022 Munoz with that slider that just didn't have the same bite last year. Munoz was still good, and his fastball was actually better, I think, in 23 than 22. Because actually his fastball was not a great pitch in 22. I mean, it had the velocity, it was actually hit fairly hard. It was a slider. Then last year, it was the fastball and that sinker that he added that were more deadly. He just really couldn't find the slider. This year, the slider looks back. I haven't gone to Savant, looked at the pitch value for it or anything like that, but just from the eye test, Munoz looks like he's getting back to 22. And listen, he was a little banged up last year, and he was fine. 2023 Munoz was not a bad pitcher by any means, but 22 was like best reliever on the planet, and he's starting to look closer to that. So Munoz gets this. Actually, no, Munoz gets the win technically. Let's go ahead and dive into the offense. You cannot stop Josh Rojas. The Josh Rojas MVP campaign is officially on. I mean, honestly, right? Like, do I think Josh Rojas is going to be the American League MVP? No, probably not. But he's putting up an MVP type season. I think only Mookie Betts has a better WRC plus in baseball this year. Rojas 3 for 4, an RBI single in the second inning with the bases loaded, and a walk. On base 4 times and was a home run shy of the cycle. Rojas got the start in left field today. Interesting. They went against a righty. They played Urias. I've been talking about maybe playing Rojas against a lefty, but they actually go with Urias against a righty, which I'm fine with that too, because Urias has been swinging a good bat. But Rojas looked good in left field. I am not against letting him start against some lefties in the outfield. I'm not saying you don't play Sam Haggerty at all, but let's say you face 3 lefties. Maybe Rojas starts 1, 2 of those games, and Haggerty gets the other one. I think that's completely fair. So wouldn't mind seeing it. And good to see Rojas look good in the outfield. His first start out there since 21. Julio 0 for 4 with a walk. Julio. Some great plays in center field. Absolutely. So want to get that out of the way. Julio's defense on point today. Julio had a tough at-bat in the second inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Mariners had already scored 2 runs on the Urias walk and the Rojas base hit. If Julio just leaves the bat on his shoulders, it's 3-0. And then I know Polanco grounds into a double play next at bat, but that double play would have gotten another run in. It would have been 4-0 because there would have been nobody out. I mean, you don't know how it's going to be pitched, so we can't say that, but would have been, probably would have been. And Julio left a lot of runners on base today. He's got to lay off that inside pitch. Teams are just pounding him inside, and he'll occasionally lay off of it. In his first at bat, he worked a walk, but for the most part, he's not. I mean, if you go look up game day on MLB.com and look at where the pitches are in his at-bats, they are all in. He is just being pounded inside. And this is where I'm not a coach. I don't know if there's something he can do with his hands or his stance to adjust to it, or if you just got to spit on those, man. And if they paint it, if it's paint on the inner half, tip your cap. There are some pitches that pitchers throw where you got to take it. There's nothing you can do. You just hope that it's called a ball. That happens a lot. I've seen those at-bats where we go, if you swing at that, you're not doing anything with it. So take it and hope you get a ball out of it. I do think Julio will be fine. We've seen this before from him early in the year. And he's still adding value, right? Julio's still an outstanding defensive center fielder. And like a 621 OPS isn't good. That's not at all what we want from Julio. It's not like he's been totally useless or anything at the plate either. It's very much lifted by, it's very batting average inflated, meaning it's a lot of singles. He's still not slugging. Really thought we'd see him put one in the Crawford boxes this series. And yes, the up and down from Julio, very frustrating. So anybody in the comments that you are frustrated with Julio, I'm there with you. It is very frustrating. I would love to see more consistency out of Julio. If he wants to get that MVP award that we've talked about for him, he's got to be more consistent. He can't have Aprils and Mays where it's just like this. Now, this has actually been a little bit better than the last couple of years, I think, by numbers wise, but it's been frustrating. I have little doubt that he'll get out of this. I think we'll see a streak from Julio again where he just goes 2 weeks and doesn't look like he can make an out. But as of right now, it is frustrating. It is. Do I think you move him down in the order or anything? You just don't have a lot of guys hitting right now. Do I think make a ton of lineup adjustments? I mean, if you go down the list here, Polanco's OPS 642. Cal, you're not moving Cal to number 2. He's been fine. Ty's 669. Garver's 581. Raley 594. You could move up Urias or Dylan Moore, but I think it's hard to, you got to look going forward and who's more likely to be the better hitter going forward. The answer is still Julio Rodriguez. He is still the best bet to give you, deliver from the 2 hole to 3, wherever you want to put him. He's still the best bet to do that going forward. And it's tough. It's tough. I'm not saying we dismiss the past couple months, but if you had asked me, I don't know any numbers. Like, let's just say I'm haven't looked at anything this season. Who's going to be the better bet to hit out of the 2-hole? Julio, Dylan Moore, Urias. Maybe what you could do is when JP gets back, Rojas could go in there. I think that would actually be something fair to do. But again, even there, I would predict Julio to have better numbers than all of those guys the rest of the season. So the good news is Julio still hasn't been great. He's still been great defensively. And it's glad to see it hasn't carried over into the defense for him. The Mariners are 19-15 in first place, and their best player that we thought could win the MVP has been pretty mediocre, through the first 34 games. So you could take that as good news that Julio hasn't gotten hot yet. So I do think he will. I'm not worried, but it is frustrating. Polanco 1 for 5. He had a base hit in, I don't remember which inning. He grounded in the double play with the bases loaded. He shouldn't get off the hook either. That was with 1 out, ended the inning. Had Julio not struck out, it probably gets a run home, but still not a great at-bat there on the first pitch. And they kind of let Hunter Brown off the hook there, and he settled in and pitched all right. The big dumper, 1 for 5, another home run, the game winner. You cannot stop Josh Rojas, and you cannot stop the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. My wife absolutely loves Cal Raleigh. She wants a Cal Raleigh jersey, so I'm going to make that happen because you got to support the big dumper. Every time he's up, that's her favorite guy to watch. So we got to get that jersey for the Mrs. Trident podcast. But man, not only Cal with a clutch home run, but again, right-handed. I know Houston, the Crawford box is not the hardest place to hit right-handed, but still, we know left-handed being Cal's power side, and he now has 8 home runs. I think he's got 4 from each side this year. So just tremendous from Cal, clutch. So happy to have Cal Raleigh on this team. How fun is Cal? Certain guys that I don't want to say we take it for granted, but with this pitching staff, how historic it's been. A guy like Cal Raleigh, we have got a player at catcher, one of the most premium positions at baseball. There's not only just a cool dude and an easy guy to root for, a great leader, works great with the pitching staff, a great hitter, clutch. Man, I love Cal Raleigh. If you don't like Cal Raleigh, I don't think anybody in here doesn't like him, but if you don't, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're not having fun watching baseball if you're not a fan of the big dumper. Easily one of my favorite players. Ty France 1 for 4 with a double. Ty had some good swings in this series. Still, kind of in that mode, in that Julio mode where we want to see some more slug and see a big Ty France hot streak. But, the Savant page would indicate it's going to happen. And I think Ty's had some pretty decent at-bats. Listen, the overall number's not great, but I haven't been super mad at Ty. Maybe that's because there's been more guys struggling, but good to see a double from Ty France today, his 5th. Mitch Garver, 1 for 4 at a line drive base hit, was also hit by a pitch. Garver on base a couple times. He did leave some runners on as well, but, was on base twice. Luke Raley, Big Luke, Big Thunder, as Dave Sims calls him, 1 for 3 with his first Mariner home run, scores 2 runs and works a walk as well. Luke Raley on base twice. Say, good to see the power. That was absolutely crushed. Been waiting for that Luke Raley home run. He hit 19 last year. He has it in him to hit 15, 20 home runs. So really, really good to see. He has had some much better at-bats. Again, the overall numbers don't show it, but he's had some solid base hits. He's had some good at-bats working the count. He had the walk as well today. Luke Raley is starting to get going, and I think that's another reason you saw them send down Clase. Raley was starting to put together better at-bats, starting to look like the guy the Mariners acquired this offseason, and good to see him come through with a big home run that, along with Cal's, proves to be the difference in the game. Dylan Moore, 1 for 3. It's funny, the ball he hit the weakest was the one that was a base hit. He stung 2 line drives right at Alex Bregman, and he was hit by a pitch, and we have got to compliment his base running on that Luis Urias game-tying single in the 8th. Because Dylan Moore had to hold up a bit, kind of a line drive. You're not sure if it's going to be caught. So Demo kind of starts going back to second, and then is still able to score on it, despite a pretty good throw by Jake Myers from the outfield there. That is great base running by Dylan Moore. And don't let that go, unnoticed, because that is an unsung hero play of this game. So a great game for Dylan Moore, who has held down the fort very nicely without JP Crawford. Wouldn't mind seeing Rivas get some more at-bats, especially against righties, but Demo's done a nice job. Luis Urias, 1 for 3, 2 RBIs, and a bases loaded walk as well. A great at-bat in his walk against Hunter Brown. Got down 1 and 2, worked his way on base, got the Mariners their first run, and a clutch game-tying base hit in the 8th inning. His first single of the year. Only doubles and home runs for Urias so far, so his first base hit. Urias rewards Scott for playing him against the right-handed hitter, and boy, this third base platoon. Listen, I was someone that liked it. I thought it could work out. I didn't think it would be this good, for sure. I don't even think the most optimistic person would think that, but Luis Urias is paying dividends. Listen, he wasn't healthy last year. This has been a good baseball player. And I like Isaiah Campbell. I think he's a decent reliever. I know he's off to a slow start. I think he'll bounce back. But like, this organization has 15 Isaiah Campbells. Tyson Miller and Cody Bolton and Colin Snyder and all these guys can do what Isaiah Campbell did. Now, there's guys that are as good as Urias out there as well, but Urias has shown a lot of value to this team. And how about his defense? His defense has looked really good. He made some great plays today, and the arm looks better. It looked weak early in the year. I wonder now if he's just fully healthy. The arm strength looks a lot better. Urias has been a nice spark plug for this team, and I've enjoyed watching him. He's put some really quality at-bats together, and then Sam Haggerty pinch ran, I think, for Urias in that 8th inning. Great win, fun win. This team's on a roll. This has been so much fun to watch. I have just enjoyed talking ball with you guys. I'm going to get out of here because I'm coming up on 30 minutes on this video. And it feels good to beat the Astros. We got to say it, right? I don't mean that towards, if you're an Astro fan watching that at all. I'm over everything. I don't have a beef with any fan base. I'm not a trash talking person. I'm just here to talk baseball and talk Mariners. But you can take it as a compliment, right? When teams used to beat the Seahawks and they got excited, that was a compliment because that's how good that team was. So it feels good to beat the Houston Astros. It feels good to win 2 out of 3. Minnesota's hot. They've won 11 out of 12. They lost today for the first time in forever. They've got some good pitching. It's not going to be easy. The Mariners have faced some really good starting pitching. Even Hunter Brown today wasn't great, but his stuff is good. The results haven't been there for him. And if you look at Savant Page, it's ugly. He probably needs to go to AAA for a little bit, but he's got good stuff. Not an easy guy to hit, necessarily. So, and the Twins are going to throw some good pitching at you too. Should be a great battle to take on Minnesota. And when the team's playing well, I look forward to these. I look forward to these series. I said I was looking forward to the Braves series. I was rewarded. Mariners win 2 out of 3. I was looking forward to this series, a good test on the road, so it's been a lot of fun. So like I said, tomorrow, the video with Mariner Sir will be out. I don't think I'll have a series preview up for the Twins series. I've got me and Mariner Sir doing our podcast. I'm going to be on, like I said, with Collins at Like It Is, and I'll put that up. I just got too much stuff going on. I've got a long work day tomorrow, so I just don't think I'm going to be able to get up a series preview, unfortunately, for the Twins series. I do apologize for that, guys and gals. I will do everything I can to get one up for the A's because I really want to talk about the A's because they've been kind of fun this year. So remember to hit that like button, smash it, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys all next time. Go Mariners. Peace.